Save it in the cloud, please, so
Yes,
we can retrieve it later.
it is. As of this moment, the call is being recorded into the cloud. Thank you, Katinka, for that suggestion. So, as I was saying, I would propose to kick off with a round of expectations from this call. And after that, I think we will have time for a round of probably identifying some of the things people would need some help with, and then seeing if we can find on those areas people that could be of help, and also addressing a structure for how to have more of these calls in the coming period, and see if we can make this a recurring thing that works out and is of added value to the members of GBO. So I have a particular order. My Corona period has shown me that sometimes different people see different other people on their Zoom screen. So I will just name people and ask them briefly just to share what their expectations are from this call. And after that, we'll do a quick wrap up, and then we will continue with the rest of the call. Okay, so it will be by my order. Frank, can you please share your expectations? You're on mute, Frank.
Let me unmute. Yes. Yes. Good evening, everybody. We have spoken earlier, Uwe, since you're a member of GBO Rotterdam, so I know a little bit what you're heading for. My expectations is that we can create a better and stronger network. And I know you have some particular plans for that, so I'm very curious to hear all about it, because I want to co-op to create that stronger network within GBO.
Okay, thank you. Nice and short. Thanks, Frank. Ben?
Yes, thank you, Ivan. Two expectations as far as I'm concerned. One is to learn something from somebody else. I think that's one of the purposes for me always to be in networks. And the other expectation is from participating in other networks that I may contribute to something in the field of my expertise, which is in sales and coaching sales management and entrepreneurs.
Okay, that's very concrete. Thank you. Katinka?
What are my expectations? Well, I like networking, so I like getting to know other people, whether they be in Holland or internationally. And like Ben said, you know, if I can help anybody with anything, then, you know, that's what I'm here as well. That's part of my networking philosophy is who can I help and how can I help?
Excellent. Thank you, Katinka. Harry?
Yes, hi, my name is harryhedemark. I'm probably the newest member of this group, since I only had time for one lunch, I think, here in Stockholm before the Corona virus came and stopped us from all meetings. So my expectations are not that high. So it's make it easy for you. So this is kind of the first time I am in a network call like this with the global business owners. So I'm here to see and learn, and maybe in the end or during the time, it might be that I have a question regarding COVID-19 products that might be interesting. I saw that Miguel, I read something here while we were waiting about this global emergency platform. So maybe something related to that could be discussed later on.
Okay, thank you, Harry. Koen?
All right, hi everybody. For me, what I expect from tonight is, first of all, I would be really happy if I could be inspired by your stories, how you are dealing with this strange new situation, which is having a big impact on all of us. And second of all, I really like connecting, not only connecting myself to other people, but also listening to your stories and see where maybe I can step in to be of value, or connect one of you to other people also outside of GBO, if that could contribute in any way. So it would, if I nail it down, in essence, it will be about inspiration and about connecting.
Excellent. Thank you. Uwe? Yes, you are on mute.
Yeah, I had to unmute myself. I'm sorry, it took a while. So I'm one of the older guys, I think, in this circle. And I went through several crises at the moment and had the honor to speak about that already. Hi, Frank, in Rotterdam and in Madrid. And so I think one of the outstanding qualities of this network is really to share our experiences over the time and over the borders of our countries, and so we can learn a lot from each other. And I'm always open, and I love to hear what you're struggling with and how you can overcome these boundaries. And so for me, it's just to get all your impressions and to learn from it, and maybe to find common solutions that can help all of us. That would be really nice. So I'd like to pass it on to somebody else.
Thank you, Peter.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm a member in GBO Switzerland, Zurich, from the very beginning. I'm a lawyer in Zurich and Lucerne. My expectation is actually that I do need to add it. It's to strengthen the network. I think in such crisis, it shows how valuable a network is.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Louisa?
Hi, yes. Well, I'm wondering about how everybody is planning to overcome their difficulties, and also how to, if we can help each other to change the shift in priorities and business strategies that are going to come to us, because obviously we're going to shift our business style a lot of it goes virtual and so on and so on. So digital marketing is going to become one of the main focuses that we're all going to turn to, I suppose, and how we're going to get the word out. Also, because I run de la carte services for GBO, and that's something where we have to look in as well, expanding to not only running campaigns on LinkedIn, but offering maybe complete digital marketing services. And we all should focus, get a shift the way we market each other and how we can help each other in doing this.
Excellent. Thank you, Louisa. Ken?
Yeah, good evening all. Mallorca, chapter GBO. I'm here for more or less the same reasons as you all mentioned. I love the philosophy of GBO, and I was inspired when I saw what it was all about. So I'm anxious to find out how we all can help each other through this terrible period of time with this uncertainty of not knowing when it's going to end. So I'm here with a positive mind and a positive attitude.
Okay, thank you. Julia?
Hi guys, sorry I joined a bit later and I could not hear you, so I'm just, I heard a couple of comments. In my case, I'm also kind of starting from scratch. Usually I have a business development company that helps people going in international markets and explore new markets internationally. So for me, I have to start with more of a digital point of view. So I'm now helping companies to explore how to develop and how to grow digitally and really find clients through lead generation and so on. So I'm more than happy to help for free the members of GBOs or any entrepreneurs that need a little bit of an advice or an input on innovation from that side. So just let me know.
Thank you, Julia. Miguel?
Hey, everyone. So I'm here tonight very interested in listening to what you guys have to say, more than saying myself anything, because I want to learn right from the members what to expect from GBO moving forward, and especially in this crisis situation. And we are taking many initiatives, and we have some others in the pipeline. And I would very much love to hear what's in your mind for GBO to contribute to better networking and better connecting, and to find a way of going out of this crisis in a positive way. So I'm all ears to know.
Okay, thank you, Miguel. I see that there's another account which is having the name as Global Business Owners. Is this?
Maybe that's the one that you created when you joined.
Yeah, I don't know. So then I'll assume that
maybe
could be Victoria.
Michaela?
It could be Victoria, I said.
Or Richard.
Victoria?
One of our accounts. So not sure. Just guessing.
All right. And otherwise, Michaela, you are next. Do you want to share your expectations?
Okay. Well, I don't really have any expectations for the first. This is and the title and the idea of the group alone is the heart and the central part of GBO. So I'm here to listen to everyone, and it's always very interesting. We do a lot of meetings, and every time things come up that we can then take and put into reality. So that's why I'm here. I'm listening to you, and you come up with ideas that we can implement to help you, to help each other and others. So that's why I'm here. No expectations, just listening in.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, and sorry, I forgot to put my face back, so excuse me. There you are.
That's much better.
Maite?
Yes, I'm going to, now. Hello, everyone. My name is Maiten, and well, there are two words that I particularly like. One is connection, and the other is brainstorming. So if I tell you the truth, you all, well, I have some kind of high expectations, because I think that we can all contribute in some way, and that we can all create maybe something new that we can offer, and that we can help each other, and we can really think about something new, because the world is going to need absolutely something new in terms of everything. So thanks for having me.
Okay. Thank you, Maiten. Thank you, everyone. I think I've covered everyone right now. Did I miss anyone? Now's the time to speak up. No, it's not. Excellent. So I will quickly wrap up all of the input that I noted. So you are expecting from this session to get more value from the network, to contribute something, to learn from something, to get to know other people. In regards to the current crisis, to discuss the global emergency platform, COVID-19 products, to get inspired by other stories of people dealing with this new situation, connecting people, sharing the previous crisis experience, and seeing what could be of value here for people adjusting their strategies to a new situation, finding common solutions, looking at how businesses can shift to a more digital reality, listening, and brainstorming, helping each other. I think these are the words that I've written down. What I would propose, to get our hands a little dirty, to make a round of looking at a concrete sample case, if anyone is willing to put it forward, and see what this special group of 15 people is able to say, recommend, challenge, brainstorm, or advise at this, so that we move away from the abstract and we take a concrete challenge of something that is impacted now by this digitalization, or sorry, by this corona crisis. It may be something related to digitalization, maybe something related to adapting to a new economic reality, to a new temporary corona world. And I will just throw this one open into the floor. Anyone wanting to bring forward a case from yourself or something in your network that you're seeing that could perhaps benefit from the combined brain power that this room has? Don't be shy now.
I'll go.
Thank you, Louisa.
Okay. Well, basically, as I said, my focus is mainly on content writing and digital marketing, and I come across a lot of negativity in the whole marketing sector, as everybody wants to now wait and see how to take it from here. Where this is all going, when it will be over, when the lockdown finishes. I mean, here in Spain, particularly, we're on a very strict lockdown, but since the work is digitally and remote, it doesn't really matter where. But people are very careful and they don't want to put any investment into marketing now and want to hold and wait. So obviously at the moment there is no not much work. So that's why I earlier said maybe expand into, because if we're focusing, for example, now more on LinkedIn and internal ways of publicity, that were maybe how can we best integrate it with other social media platforms, or where's the best in your experience, which is the best ways to get yourself out there.
Okay, so before I hand this over to the room, just to make sure that I understand your challenge properly, your existing client base is postponing investments because of the uncertainty that this period brings, and you're looking, because the nature of your business is global, it kind of is applicable beyond the locality where you are staying. So you're wanting to reach out to a much bigger audience, and you're looking for guidance on how to use channels like LinkedIn to do this. Is that a correct summary?
Yes, and to go beyond LinkedIn, because since mainly now the concentration is on LinkedIn and campaigns on LinkedIn, but to also integrate different social media platforms, and which ones would be the best and which ways would be the best to do this.
All right, I have a feeling someone will be able to be of a lot of help here.
Yeah, hi, Louisa. For me, I see that a lot of people are overloaded with information at the moment because everybody is at home, so in front of the screen constantly. So LinkedIn campaigns can be sometimes not well received, especially if it's by private message. There is a tendency to just say like, I don't want to be bothered directly by selling online and so on. So in my case, I tried to move on to Instagram, which is more of a hobby platform, and where people are looking at during the times that they want to, you know, have a hobby or like take away the pressure from the screen from work and so on. And the advertisement on Instagram are more for self-development more than company development, but I think it can be nice to also offer like online consultancies for individuals or companies through an Instagram platform, and that might appear a little bit more friendly than LinkedIn, that at the moment is a bit of a tense space, from my opinion. But
thank you,
yeah.
Julia.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else?
Yeah, if I may add something to that, is what I especially see at the moment is that we may enter a time where we only have a few potential clients to select from. I always say in good times, everybody can sell. But the era that we are going in now means that we really need to focus. And I think especially because sales is what is driving every company, sales is becoming top sport. And I think it is now for every entrepreneur is the time to at least keep communicating. I think if you're, and I'm working mainly in the business to business area. So for me, I advise a lot of people on LinkedIn. But the main thing, what you do now on LinkedIn is especially, and that's also maybe a good time now, is to think about your value proposition. Too many people are immediately going to offer solutions, they want to talk, etc. Whilst I think that the most important thing to do now is to build trust, to show your excellence by that you understand really what the issues are, the problems are of your potential clients, and to show them that you can help them solve these issues. So stay away from selling at the moment, especially if cash is involved, but focus on your value proposition. And with respect to value, I mean, and that's also part of selling, many people, once they hear the solution, they start offering, start making the proposal. But once you hear the real problem that your clients have, dig deeper. Try to find out how much money is lost, how much time is lost, how much customer satisfaction can be increased, how much employee satisfaction can be increased. All these factors can be calculated in money. And if you are able to make that calculation together with your potential client, it may be that the proposal that you put on the table is much cheaper than the amount of money that's going to be gained in the end. And this is something when many people are talking about value add, that they forget to express it in money terms. Because value added value has two main components. One is cost and the other is benefit. So I think for some companies out there, you may be able to help them decrease cost, which is especially in crisis management times, it's about cash flow. And if you can help them in that field, you can still do business, I think. But if you can show and prove that your proposal is going to bring them much more money than what they need to invest, there might also be for the entrepreneurs who are looking a little bit more in the long term space still to do business. But I think the main thing at the moment, and that's a little bit going Louisa's direction, is I think that social marketing, which has already becoming the name of the game, the marketing going much further in the selling process to deliver marketing qualified leads. There are at the moment some very interesting trends going on. And I'm convinced that for many people, the Corona crisis has been a discovery of what is possible online, not only meeting virtually, but also finding information. And I think that it's only a very small percentage of companies who have really aligned their marketing process versus in combination with the selling process. I guess maybe it's 15%. So there's a lot of what I hear in this group of expertise, which you can turn around into money and good advice and good payouts. So I'm, in fact, I'm still very positive, but it's going to be top sport. And it means that we ourselves have to be really on top and prepared and well-trained and really have a very clear value proposition.
Excellent. Thank you, Ben. I think one more dimension.
Yes, thank you. I apologize if I put my microphone off a lot, but I have a lot of children in the background and I don't want you to hear most of that.
To cover Louisa's question, I think there's one more dimension. She mentioned that people, they do postpone the investments. And when you're an entrepreneur, you can, of course, work on your value proposition for a while. But after a few months, you gotta get some money in. Otherwise, you're in big trouble yourselves. And I think this might be interesting for Uwe to comment on in a crisis where the first response is indeed to cut back on kind of discretionary investments. And this may last for more than a couple of months. What would you suggest to do? How to view this to deal with this?
Yeah, there are two dimensions really, because, well, I think I can subscribe totally to what Ben said, because in the end, it's at the moment, when you get in touch with your customers or potential customers, it's about usefulness. How can you be useful to them is the first question. And it's not the first question, what can I sell to them? Because if you try to sell instantly, well, you might have some weird reactions from the other side, because nobody might be really interested in buying your service that you were offering the last years or decades or whichever. So if you look carefully at what you can offer, how you can be useful to your clients, this is really the key even to new services. And maybe it's not what you have done during the last years that can lead you through this time of crisis, but might be something very different. I experienced it myself that, well, I live on workshops and sometimes interim management and things like that, which requires a lot of presence in the company itself. And this is quite impossible at the moment. So I realized that people are hiring me at the moment to facilitate and to moderate online meetings and online conferences, even crisis intervention and things like that. I had never had done before online, but it works in some way. So I was driven in some way by my customers to a new business model for this time where I'm in now. And if you try to rethink which are the things that you can really do well, maybe they weren't your main offer during the last years, but they can be useful to your customers, then you might find something. It's really not easy, and you must be prepared to do things you avoided during the last time. But maybe that will help you and give you as well a little nudge towards further growth. Well, you never know what happens, and you never know what will make you profitable over the time. So just try to experiment a little bit with what you can do and how you can be useful to your clients. That's all I can say. There is no key solution where you can say, that's it, try that, and you will be successful. But you have to try maybe some things, different things, and there might be one thing that can carry you through the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Uwe. Is there anyone else that wants to comment on this case from Louisa?
Yes, I'd like to add something. Mainly related to the question that has to do with which platform to use, if it is LinkedIn, if it's Instagram, if it's TikTok, or whatever that might come up in the future. I personally think that all business need to wait and listen very carefully and be really aware of what is going on inside the audience that they already have. But mainly wait, not in a passive waiting, in an active waiting, preparing for the future, because we are all going through a transition time. We are all going through a big change. So our behaviors, our thoughts, everything is going to change, and everything is going to be different in the future, and we already know that. So we cannot predict what is going to be in the future, the least based on the past. I think that maybe even the same platform, let's take LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been fantastic for many, many industries in the latest, 3 years. But LinkedIn for sure needs to adjust and to change many, many main things inside the algorithm and inside maybe also the culture. So personally, I think that it is a time to be very careful and maybe to collect data and then to pass to the next step, which is to create a new marketing approach.
Thank you, Maiten.
Yeah, that's
need that.
something what I thought as well, because we all have things, that comes back to what Uwe said as well. We all have things that we've always wanted to do and always wanted to try. And like maybe brush up on our SEO knowledge, or learn more internet-based topics or just subjects, and just get more knowledge in, and further studies that we've never had time to, and see what we can learn as a new skill, or improve as a skill that we've had a little bit but never really, got much depth into it, and now have the time to do that. So yeah, it's a good idea to expand into different fields as well, and try new ways that we wouldn't have gone otherwise, possibly.
Thank you.
Sorry, there was another question, a very concrete question I didn't answer really. I'm sorry about that. That was the question, which channel is the right one at the moment, because LinkedIn is over flooded at the moment. I know that. And just think about how many customers would you need to survive this period. I think it wouldn't be very many if you find someone who pays you well and who really needs your service. So my way to get in touch with people is a little bit via LinkedIn or other platforms, but mainly by writing maybe an email, maybe to someone, even a letter, and especially getting people on the phone and talking to them. Because when you talk to them, it's completely different. It's another way of communication where you are much closer to the people, much closer to the guys you're talking to, and you learn much more about their situation, and you learn much more how you can be useful for them. And maybe that could be a way to get in touch with one of your prior clients and maybe learn a lot how you might be able to help them. So just try it. Pick up your phone and call them.
Well, yeah, platform related. It's basically because what the focus is running campaigns and doing the publicity for other people. So that's why rather than for me to sit here and trying to get more and numerous new clients, is just wondering in which ways I should focus my clients' campaigns.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, so it's the service that you deliver already. That
exactly, to see where the trend is going, where your experiences are in different social media platforms, because all of us do LinkedIn. But as Julia said as well, Instagram is something that's very much used by everyone. Now I've heard Maiten say something about TikTok. I know my daughters are actively on TikTok, and I haven't really thought about using that for marketing as well, but it's something we have to explore. I'm sure they'll teach me it.
But your daughter wouldn't be really amused if she found you on TikTok, I think. So you have to really...
They're in the age they still think I'm cool. At 6 and 11, I'm still cool. It's just like, give it a year before they go, oh God, it's that old woman on TikTok.
If I may add something to that, when speaking about channels, there's one thing which is very often forgotten, and that's something I do a lot of consultancy as well, and especially to many companies I'm telling at the moment, take your time also to talk to your most important customers. Because in many cases, 20% of your customers make 80% of your revenue. And especially coming back on what I mentioned earlier regarding your value proposition, just sit down with your most important clients and ask them just 3 questions. And one of those questions is, what is the main problem that you had before you went out into the market to look for a solution? Because you think normally that as a salesperson, that you know what problem they have, but let your clients really tell what the problem was they had, or the issue or the need or whatever. And listen, because I mean, all the information that you're getting there helps you to update your LinkedIn profile, to make a better telephone call, and in the first 30 seconds, show your expertise by addressing and mentioning the problems and the issues that you know that are playing around in the market. It's one important, very important question, and dig deep to really understand that point. That's the first question, problem. The second question which you could ask is, what was the reason for selecting my company as your main supplier? And this is where some call it the USPs, others call it unique buying points, doesn't matter. But this is where you really find the reason why they picked your company. And in many cases, you get a totally different answer than what you expected, even to your surprise, as a compliment or whatever. But use that information, because then you know how to differ from the competition and what makes you stronger. That's the second question, reason. And the third question has to do with what results have been achieved. Because many times we are forgetting that people who purchase do it only for one reason. It's not only for getting their problems solved, but also to achieve a result. So try to find out what results have been achieved. And then once the results have been mentioned and you get all these 3 positive answers on all your questions, there is one, and I don't call it a channel, but it's the one thing that is very often forgotten in sales. That's the famous question: which 3 other companies do you know who are looking for a similar type of solution?
Yeah.
Be it companies, be it person. Don't ask for who do you know, because then you get an answer or not an answer. But if you ask for 3 or 5 references, the chances that you get much more. And that's the most easiest way of doing business, is being referred by someone who says, okay, you have to talk to so-and-so. And if it's a good client, they may even be prepared to make the phone call or to build a connection for you. And all the answers to these questions, problems, reasons, results, make sure that is showing in your LinkedIn profile. Because people will look on LinkedIn and say, okay, who are you? Are you the expert I want to talk to? And if you're not showing what you're trying to put forward on another level, I mean, you have to be complete now.
Yes.
And I think, and many times I've done this with clients, and it gives you a perfect information and sometimes even a totally different insight in what your strength is. Maybe that will help.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you for that, Ben. Thank you, Katinka, in the chat. You did not take up a lot of speaking room, but you suggested to people, don't forget about how you look on social media. Take a nice professional picture and put it out there. In a digital world, this is the only thing that people will see. So I think we had a quite round and interesting discussion on this topic. Ben made some very insightful and useful comments on working on the value proposition. And I think it is very true that in good times, everyone can sell, and sales become a top sport in bad times. And when Ben was talking about focusing on the value proposition, Uwe's comment that maybe what was your value proposition in the old world of a few months ago may no longer be the most relevant reason for companies to take your services today. So be creative about your value proposition. I think these are very helpful tips that are applicable beyond the mere question that Louisa asked. I think a lot of us are struggling with similar issues at this time. So thank all of you for your contributions so far. I would like to go to a second case. Do I have any volunteers that would like to bring another challenge and see how we can use this group of wonderful and experienced people to look at their case?
I don't want to stop you really, but there was another challenge within Louisa's question, right? Because she was looking for a professional platform that can support her business. And we haven't even talked about that. We had been talking about how can her business be supported. But it could be an interesting question. I wonder whether we can solve it tonight or not. It would be interesting. The question could be, is there a way to set up a kind of platform that can replace in a very, very smart way LinkedIn, all the fairs, the business fairs that are at the moment on hold. And so is there a way to create a kind of new network-based communication within the community of companies, of entrepreneurs, and so on that could support Luisa's business and ours as well, because we all depend on these networks. So that could be a really interesting challenge and would require some more creative work, I think. Maybe it's not the time tonight, but I'd just like to keep it in mind because this is a question that will drive us further on, I think.
Well, just something comes to mind now. We are part of GBO. And GBO is a platform and it's a group of connected people. We have our own website and we have our own app. Sorry guys, but it is not as smooth as LinkedIn yet. But if I give it back to you, Uwe, would a network like GBO be something that you were just talking about?
At the moment, certainly not, because GBO is quite small. There are very few members compared to the business networks that we know in the world. But in the long run, this could be a question. How could GBO really thrive, could develop, and could find its place in the world as a platform for business people, for entrepreneurs especially, where they can find really high-level partners to talk about things
Sorry to interrupt you, but without looking at quantity or the size, just look at GBO as it is today.
Ah, okay.
And whether that could be the kind of network that you are maybe looking for, that is not in the hands of a company or a corporation who wants to earn money, but which is more a corporation, which is of the members.
Interesting question, certainly. And this is one of the reasons why I'm here tonight, really. And I'd like to pass this question on in how far the other participants tonight think that GBO can be a kind of supportive network, not only to exchange our views, but as well to support our businesses. Who would like to contribute to that?
I think excellent question. I think this is indeed an important reason for me also for suggesting this call, because I also feel that beyond sharing of thoughts, we can actually do real business. I think Frank has been speaking in Rotterdam a couple of times that he made an introduction between another new GBO member and myself for my venture builder that ended up in a partnership. I visited myself Dubai 2 months ago before the lockdown, met the chapter head of the GBO in Dubai, and I'm in the process of engaging in business there. There's plenty of opportunities for members to interact with one another and to grow both of their businesses, because at the end of the day, you don't enter into business if it's not in both parties' interest. So if this is the angle of what you're looking for, let's do a quick round. How the other people in the room are feeling about this. Frank?
Yep. Thanks for mentioning me. As being the voorzitter or president of the 2 chapters in the Netherlands, I think part of my role is to make connections and create trust between the members. So what I see is that members approach me and they 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, one of the members came to me and he said, Frank, I don't think this GBO is something for me because I can't find my clients over here. So I said, what, are you looking for clients? Then yes, then probably just coming to the lunches is not the right way to get them. But have you taken a closer look to all the international members as well, and have you positioned yourself into the local clubs, into Amsterdam, for example? Have you positioned yourself and presented yourself and approached members abroad? Because if you just sit behind your desk, nothing will happen. And it will be a accident, something like being hit by Corona, that percentage, that you will be hit by one of the other GBO members. And sometimes it happens, because during Corona time, I happened to have one new member into GBO Rotterdam. She had been to one of the lunches just before Corona, and she became a member, and she wasn't active at all at the moment, but suddenly she was approached by another member just by having a good profile. And that is what I'm saying, and what Ben's saying, and Uwe is saying. Make sure you're there, make sure that you have the right proposition, and make sure that people are aware of your presence. Sitting, leaning back, it doesn't help you. Waiting for the business to come doesn't help you if nobody has any idea what they can buy with you. So that is my message to everybody, and that is what I preach all the time. And of course, not always. I take some holidays as well. Last week I did my garden, and I went to the beach, and I picked up my cycling again. So, well, there are times for relaxing and leaning back and looking at yourself and your own approach from the helicopter view. So that's what I did, and I'm going to go forward again.
Thank you, Frank. I think it's quite funny that we are all sitting in our chairs, meeting each other from all over Europe, even when your advice is not to sit back in your chair, because nothing will happen from it. But these Corona times, on the one hand, they are special. On the other hand, this is part of the future.
Yeah.
And the proposition may have been, you're going to join GBO Rotterdam and you're going to join GBO Amsterdam, and those two may never actually meet, even though they are half an hour away. But now we're sitting here in a room with people from Sweden, from Switzerland, from Spain.
Yeah, it's great.
UK, the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And we're meeting here, and this apparently also GBO needed the Corona crisis to set this up and to get this going. But then now that it has started, maybe we should actually own it. And
well, I think Uwe, it offers great opportunities for everybody to network in a much easier way. And I know that there were plans already for the webinars and for the international digital presentations. I knew it was coming, but this has speed up the introduction of it, and I admire all the work that has been done by everybody to make it real.
Thank you. I see that Julia has a question.
Yeah, I was wondering a little bit, like, if we fast forward a little bit, like after the confinement, like, how do you see, like, because for instance, from my experience now, I realize like how much time it takes me to go to every like networking event and every lunches and stuff. And actually with the webinars, you can reach out even like further than a local network. So I'm wondering like how you guys see like GBO evolving like after this. Like, do you think we will go back to just lunches, or do you reckon that we now created a bond that has to be maintained like in a kind of way?
Maybe let's
both.
Shall we take this from
that Yeah, I can answer that very quickly, very clearly. What we're doing at the moment is here to stay. So there's not, we're not going to stop all the virtual initiatives once most of the countries are back to whatever normal, new normal, old normal, whatever will happen. So it will be a mixture in the future. There will still be personal meetings as well. There will probably go down in frequency a little bit, so there will be more special, while chapters before often had, sometimes even had weekly meetings. They probably will go on to a monthly personal meeting, and all the initiatives we have, so the industry groups we have now, the local virtual meetings, the webinars, podcasts are coming up as well. So that will all stay, and we will continue to work on that, and we will continue to broaden this and have even more. I mean, I think we're up to around 40 different virtual meetings a week now. And we're going to keep that up for sure, because this has brought GBO so much further in such a short time, which we would never have envisioned before either. So that's not going to go away.
Excellent. Thank you for that answer, Michaela. So I would, if you all agree.
Should we get the others in and continue with our round?
Yeah,
we just finished in the middle. Okay.
This is what I was going to propose.
Yeah,
now,
great.
To head back to the where we left off. So Frank had shared his view on, I think, Uwe's suggestion that we could use GBO as a platform for growing each other's business and really making more matches this way. So I'll ask everyone to quickly comment on this. So Ben?
Yeah, one of the developments which I see in here in Mallorca is, and I think that is of much value to each individual entrepreneur, is organize yourselves in verticals. Because then you are talking the same type of business, and yeah, unfortunately he's not under the name here, but Hamlet does that for the tourism and the hotel business here in Mallorca, which is of course enormously hit by the lack of international tourists, and shares a lot of very valuable information, so that firstly, I think as an entrepreneur, you're not feeling left alone. You're all in the same boat. That's already helping to share that concern. And then trying to find out trying to find a way out on what can you do. And maybe even as a group, take an initiative versus the government, versus the authorities, to say, okay, something needs to change. Where is your plan? Because I mean, we're very much dependent on politicians nowadays. I mean, and they are not the biggest planners. So it should come from an entrepreneurial environment. That's one thing. Organize yourselves in verticals. And the other thing, which I think what I hear here is that, yeah, and that's also something that strikes me, is that many people have the name entrepreneur, but they lack initiative. Just organize it yourself. If somebody else is not doing it, I mean, it's a great opportunity. Take yourself the initiative and be the first. Because why should you follow? I don't think that the other one gives you a way ahead and gives you a competitive advantage.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
Thanks, Ben. And in regards to finding matches between companies, you will not easily find this inside of vertical. You can organize yourself and form a lobby or share experiences, but in terms of finding matches.
Hamlet can tell a little bit about that later, because I think it is of great value what's being done here. And I don't know whether it's happening everywhere, but this initiative was taken here in Mallorca, and I'm also myself in a group regarding personal development, healthcare, wellness, which is also not very unimportant at the moment, because you should feel very well in order to move forward and stay positive. So there are all kind of initiatives which I think is good, and the only thing is not too many people are joining. And to me, that says something, and say, okay, maybe then we belong to the 20% of the people who's going to be successful, and the rest will follow later or go bankrupt. And yeah, sorry for that.
Okay, thanks, Ben. Katinka?
Well, a lot's been said already, and I like to listen and learn. Yeah, it's totally new. I mean, in my business, it's yeah. I mean, I work all over the world, but I'd love to help everybody, but with new ideas. I think this is brilliant. This international Zoom call, which is, there's a lot of Dutch on here, but even Dutch abroad. Cool. Yeah, I love networking, and I think this is a brilliant opportunity to learn, to get to know other people. Certainly won't be the last time I'll be on these calls.
Thanks, Katinka. Harry?
Well, actually, I don't know, but my two greatest company that I'm involved in anyway is more like the opposite during these times. One is an accounting firm, and these times where there's a lot of government support and stuff like that, people need more help. So we don't feel anything down there. And the other company, they, instead of laying off people, they came up with a solution how to produce visors, one-time visor for the healthcare industry. So they changed the production line, and now it's mass producing these instead. And so I'm just lucky I have good employees that come up with ideas. I'm just the owner.
What are your thoughts, Harry, on using the global business owners as a platform for doing business, basically, finding additional clients, growing your firms?
I mean, I think that's a great idea. Actually, after my first meeting here in Stockholm, I went to Dubai. I heard you were there also, but there were no meeting when I got there in the middle of March because of the restrictions and everything. But I think that would be more interesting to meeting people and maybe to start to grow business otherwise. And I get contacts maybe in Sweden that you never can reach, but by putting it up, your what you need for help and contact, I might be able to help you, and vice versa. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, thanks. Koen?
Well, to come back to
Michaela?
Sorry? Is Michaela gonna say something, or?
Yeah, I thought Koen was going to say something, but then Michaela started talking, so. No. Okay,
I will reply.
No,
I will reply now. Thank you. I will hit the stage. I'd like to come back to Uwe, his remark about what could the next step network actually look like. And according to me, it is right under his nose, and he is part of it. For me, the quality of a network is determined by the quality of the members of the network. And when I look at LinkedIn, I have, I don't know, 1,500 connections or something like that. But from all those people, I have never been invited into a meeting like this. Here, with our network, which could be network 2.0, to call it like that, the commitment is much higher. People are much more dedicated, willing to help and share. Coming back to what Ben said, this network is so open. If another GBO member contacts you, at least when it happens to me, or what I have experienced when I have contacted new other members, there is something that already really connects you. That is something that I miss or very little experience on LinkedIn. Even people invite me I have never met. So when you take initiative and you use this network 2.0, it can bring you brilliant stuff. I have been forwarded to a possible client in Barcelona via a GBO member. Awesome, it became a client. I keep track of which new members are joining the different clubs, and I just sent a message to some new Dutch people who signed up in Rotterdam or Amsterdam, and I got a new client from it via a personal meeting, maybe using the phone or doing it via the screen. Frank, who got me into contact with a company who signed up who is part of the Rotterdam chapter. There is a quote out there, and although the times are a little bit uncertain right now, the intention is there to work together. So be active, use the network, and I really like the thought, how would a future network look like? I think we are actually part of it.
Excellent. I think, Uwe, you've already made the point by making this suggestion. Do you want to add anything already now, or you want to make a comment in the end when everyone else is done?
No, let's proceed just with the other ones. I don't know who's present at the moment. Let's have a look.
Peter? Peter, do you want to?
Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, that was, yeah. You know, as a lawyer, we are a little bit peculiar minded. So I'm really glad to hear all these thoughts from other entrepreneurs, because that helps me in another way to develop my business. That's really a great thing. And if as on the top there will be new clients, that's great, but only to listen to other entrepreneurs, how they take care of their business, that's for me already very great.
Okay. Julia?
For me, well, I think in general, like the networking meetings face-to-face were already really good, but I think that this step into the virtual meetings has been even better, in the way that there is no borders to the connections that you can make. I think at the beginning of the confinement, there was a lot of discussion about having some kind of marketplace or place where you could post what you need and what you can offer. And I saw that now it's starting to get there on the GBO board, if I'm not mistaken, Michaela. And I think that has a great potential, because it allows for members to have visibility on what people are looking for and what they could contribute in. Because it's very difficult otherwise to know who is responsible for what, or who has a problem with which issue. And for my part, for instance, well, I'm 29, so, you know, having the opinion of entrepreneurs all over the world that have years and years of experience, for me is like gold, you know. So if I can help in certain areas and also get a lot of knowledge back, for me, I think that's extremely valuable. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Global business owners, I don't see your name, your hand is raised. You're on mute.
Yeah, me?
Yes.
Okay, good, great, thank you. Yes, I came a little bit late as I was holding the hospitality one, and I apologize for that. Yeah, I was just following the different comments, and I have fully agreed with all of the things. I do believe that, as Cohen was just saying some minutes ago, the Global Net 2.0 is something really valuable to consider. I also have thousands of contacts in LinkedIn personally, and also through my other companies, but I have to say that when it comes in terms of my quality network, I can already reduce a lot of zeros to that. And basically, I could even count by heart how many of them are trustable and quality filtered. So I do believe that another sort of network, more focused into personal development and achievable and being accountable is needed. So that's my opinion. I thought not long ago, something like a year ago, in starting to develop something like that for hospitality, but obviously it didn't went through. I'm not an IT specialist, and I have my hospitality consultancy company to take care of. But I do believe this is something to create. This is a further discussion to do and how to do it. But I think it is important to come up with something like that. And going back to the last comments of Ben, some initiatives that we already took in Mallorca to the government through the circle of economy, different sort of entrepreneurs, business owners from different sectors. We elaborated the document and we went to the local authorities, giving them solutions and offering them action and support in order to enhance and reinforce travel and tourism in Mallorca, because as you know, particularly the Balearic Islands are going to be extremely hit by this crisis. So part of our concern is that normally politicians and local authorities, they are very slow if we have to consider our needs and our priorities, and comparing with their timing, they're really very slow. So we did offer them some local support, and we put our know-how on the table, but this is not gonna stop there. One of the things we are gonna keep on doing is following up which of those actions are going to be taking place and why not the others, and so on, so on. That's it. I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you. Luisa?
Well, I think it's great, and I think I've just had this throwback on Facebook. I don't know, I never even check it anymore, but there's sometimes I like to look at the memories after losing somebody important to me, and I came across this video where Brexit was explained in a tea cup. And it makes me laugh because it's true for everything. And if you look at it, you know, if we're a bag of tea and we're quite strong, but we get dumped into the water, and then do you leave the bag in or do you take it out? And that's the whole point. Is individually we might be stronger, but then if we use something from us, like renewing memberships in GBO, even though they're not due, just to strengthen the club, or you know, introducing new people to the club, or something like this, which could, at the beginning, we're giving more from us, but we're getting so much more back because now we're part of something stronger. While the tea bag itself might appear to get weaker because we're paying something in, or we're, you know, investing time into it, we actually become part of something stronger. And I was laughing at this video so much because it makes sense for this as well. And I do believe, yes, we are small, as Uwe said, but there is a lot of potential and growth. But then again, Ben puts a lot of value on the value all the time, and that's what is happening as well. So we have it all. We have the potential to grow, but we also have, you know, the potential, we also have the value and the quality. And I wonder if LinkedIn started out like this, where everybody knew each other, or everybody got to know each other, and now it's just this haystack, you know, with needles in it, and you're just invisible in there, but here you aren't. So I think that GBO is actually the correct platform to be in, and the only one that's worth investing your time into it.
Thank you, Luisa. Michaela?
Oh, well, I just love this analogy of not just being a needle in a haystack, but actually being visible. I really love that one. Of the question that was asked initially, how can members get new clients and be more visible? There's already a couple of things going on. Julia mentioned earlier the discussion boards. If you want to be visible, this is the place to be visible, because as you will have noticed, now when you log in, the first thing you see is the discussion board. So that's the first thing members look at when they log in. So if you want to be seen by other members, get busy, take initiative, as we said, as Ben said earlier. Take the initiative and put yourself out there. There's also, we have the member-to-member offers, which you can find via their internal member drop-down menu. Many people are already on there, put on members offers there for other members. So that's another way to be visible. There's a lot of possibilities. You can, if you want to contact members directly, there's many possibilities. You can not only sort all the members list by location, but also by industry and things like that. Also, in general, your profile, like in LinkedIn or anywhere else, this is our little social media platform. Take care that your profile is filled in not only correctly, but also meaningfully. There's many people who just simply have their email address and a telephone number in there. There's a free text field where you can put in as much information as you want to. Use it, make yourself visible to other people. So there's already a lot of things going on. You just need to use them because we cannot use them for you. But if there's other ideas, then, well, as I said earlier, get them to us, whatever we can do, either by ourselves or working together. And I think there comes the idea of developing something together. And as Luisa said earlier, LinkedIn has started somewhere. Facebook has started in a university dorm room. Why can we not start something together? Everybody chips in part of their expertise, and together we have something that is not networking 2.0, but we need to do it together. So that's what I have to say on that one.
Thank you, Michaela. Maite?
Yes, I'm here. So many things. I basically agree with everybody. And with Luisa particularly, I think that LinkedIn might have begun probably like this. I don't know. I really don't know. On behalf of LinkedIn, I have to say that maybe I'm very lucky, but I have two groups. I belong to two groups that in the future I'd like to share with you guys, because they are really fantastic groups, formed by people that are not usually very active, but people from different cultures and very interesting, high creative people, high position people. Well, I know that LinkedIn in general is not what it used to be at all. And this is why many of us won't linger there anymore. But I have to say that I was really lucky, and I found these people in the research area, well, I don't know, people that I consider they're really valuable. But back to GBO. GBO is a pool of resources, and the resources are us. We are the resources. So connection is king. Many of us know me exactly because of that, because a month or 2 months before the COVID-19 and all this new world, I began to contact many people, reach them out by Zoom and by the platform, and ask them to have a chat, a 15-minute chat, just to get to know each other, because maybe we live in different countries. So even though we traveled a lot at that time, it is not always possible to meet in a lunch. And I had the most extraordinary response to that. I got to know so many members from the whole Europe, fantastic people, people with a lot of initiatives, with a creative mind. So it was a fantastic experience, I have to say. And well, then the COVID arrived, so we are all together now. And another thing, very important thing that I'd like to add is that what I believe is that entrepreneurs have the vision and can create the future. So maybe if we can all think from that perspective. Entrepreneurs and non-entrepreneurs, because the entrepreneur mind is a particular mindset. So we can create something altogether. GBO can become, not because of the quantity, but because of the quality of its members, can become a very powerful resource. And I stress the word powerful in all levels.
Thank you, Maiten. Miguel?
So I'm really enjoying the meeting because lots of ideas are coming up and they are really valuable. And I think that one of the most important things that we can have moving forward, especially in this situation we are now and we will be in the short term, is that a network that we can feel like ours is going to become a must-have for an entrepreneur. It's not just what you can do and what you and your company can do, but also the network that supports you. So that is why I think that everything that is coming up today is really, really key to build that. And I'm sure that GBO can be that. So I just can be grateful and keep listening.
Thank you, Miguel. Now I will, not as your host, but from my own experience, also share my thoughts on this, because I took the initiative of suggesting this call. And I did not know what to expect. And during the comments that all of you have made, my mind was going in super speed, thinking a lot of new things. And I was feeling that in these past few weeks, I have also seen the power of connection via these types of video meetings. Even if you are thousands of kilometers away, it's not a professional kind of, formal setting. You're actually able to get to know people. I notice much more often when I don't know somebody, instead of having a phone call, I'm asking for a Zoom meeting. And sometimes I take 2 hours to get to know someone via a Zoom meeting in the office. And I feel that I actually connect to the people. And in the beginning, when I asked everyone what their expectations were, connection was a word that was used a number of times. And I think a network that reduces the transactions to a spreadsheet model where I can offer this and I need this, it's not going to work. It doesn't have the magic, it doesn't have the chemistry, it doesn't have the connection. With already these types of Zoom meetings, and indeed the quality of the people that we can have this connection. We are experiencing this today in a group of 14 people. But I do also feel that in order to have a much bigger value for the entire network, hundreds of people, maybe with this call, and I think my suggestion would be to do this again in 1 or 2 weeks, and then to focus a bit of brainstorming on this, we could come up with some ideas also for how GBO could establish a framework where you feel that you can connect to the people without actually having to see each other, and understanding, making it easier to do this bonding, and thereby also having a feeling for, what is different about this person's approach to what it is that they're doing. And what I'm thinking specifically is maybe pairing up 2, 3, or 4 people at some point in a group, letting them ask each other a couple of questions about themselves, what it is that they're doing, what makes them special, what makes them different, how they're able to be of help to other members of GBO, and to record these and to show these in a members only type of section if you're volunteering to do this. And this could make it less abstract. Right now, you're seeing a text field and someone put their email address there. And behind that email address or behind the 2 sentences is a wonderful person that is I'm just going to name one example because you're all wonderful people. Ben with his comments today, I thought they were extremely insightful. And if I did not see Ben's profile, I'm sure it's wonderful. And I'm sure, because I actually already knew Ben before GBO even, via another introduction. But this, you would not have gotten it purely from the text. And if we are going to be a global member, organization, we can have these type of speed datings and recording, a set format of answers to a set number of questions. You can get to know people without having to spend all your free evenings on doing this. So this was a suggestion. Given that we have roughly 1 minute left, I want to get a thumbs up or thumbs down. How did you think this call was going? And shall we have another one in next week? Is that all right? Thumbs up, everyone? Excellent. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I will contact with Michaela to make sure we have another call like this and we can talk more. Fantastic to get to know all of you. Have a wonderful week, wonderful rest of your evening, and hope to see you all soon and safe and healthy. Bye-bye.
One thing, Uwe.
Yes.
You were a great host tonight, and I didn't want to leave with only a thumbs up. I wanted to share it with you. Well done.
Thank you, Koen. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Ivan, and also for taking the initiative, because this was Ivan's initiative, and I applaud you and everybody else who takes initiative very much for that, because we can be the background and the supporting backbone, but yes, member initiative, that's crucial.
Excellent.
Just to spend one more minute on our discussion, we have been discussing a lot, and besides my hobbies finding companies from time to time, another hobby is to solve real problems. So could you imagine to have one of the next meetings to be a kind of co-creative session where I provide all the technology that we can work together on a solution that can be provided further on by our network to the public, and we can experiment with forms of online cooperation or collaboration. So if you like that, just give a short feedback and I could prepare that within 2 or 3 weeks or so. It will take some time, yes. Yeah, I see the feedback from some people, so we should keep that in mind, and I will be responsible for organizing it. Okay.
Great suggestion.
Okay,
I'll reach out to you via the network, and we'll be in touch on this.
Yeah, let's stay in touch and plan for it.
Excellent.
Thanks a lot, and have a nice evening. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Good
Thank
night.
you all. Thank you, Vine.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.